Nothing in nature blooms all year, yet every season has its quiet grace. Welcome, dear listener, to Zen Sleep Story. Tonight, you are invited to let go, not to lose, but to loosen, to open the hands of the heart and feel how gently the world passes through them. You've come far through the noise of the day, through the rush of thought, the pull of tasks, the subtle ache of wanting things to stay the same. But here, beneath the soft hum of night, you can rest. Take a breath. Inhale slowly, and exhale as if you're setting something free. The story begins in a small mountain village where autumn has just begun to whisper through the trees. The leaves have turned the color of fading embers, gold, rust, and quiet fire.
Ren, a quiet man in his early 30s, walks the narrow path that winds behind his home. He's known these woods since childhood, each rock, each turn, each towering oak. But today, the forest feels different. The air carries that unmistakable scent, a mix of fallen leaves, cool mist, and memory. He pauses by the riverbank, watching the current pull the fallen leaves downstream. Some float gently, others sink in silence. He thinks of how easily things disappear, not with noise or drama, but with a kind of quiet acceptance. A single leaf lands near his feet, golden, thin, trembling slightly in the breeze. He lifts it gently, and in its fragile veins he sees something familiar, a story of time written in silence. Ren lives alone in a small wooden house near the forest's edge. He tends a garden behind it, not for beauty, but for rhythm. Each morning he waters the soil, prunes what has outgrown, and kneels long enough to forget the hours. The villagers call him the Quiet One. He smiles easily, but speaks little, not out of sadness, but because he has learned that most truths are born in silence. One afternoon, as he sits by his garden, he notices a vine curling up the side of an old oak. At its tip, a single leaf clings to life. The others have already drifted away. Something about that last leaf stirs him. It is small, nearly transparent in the light, but it holds on, trembling in the mountain wind. Ren watches it every day for weeks, through sun, through rain, through the cool hush of evening. It becomes part of his quiet routine, a reminder, a companion. He knows someday soon it too will fall, but not yet, not today, and that not yet feels strangely sacred. The days shorten. The mornings arrive with silver fog that curls around the trees. Ren feels the change, not in the air alone, but in himself. He remembers his father, who once told him that every falling leaf is a prayer returning home. Back then, Ren didn't understand. He thought beauty meant permanence. He thought to love something was to hold it tightly. But now, watching the forest slowly surrender its colors, he begins to understand what his father meant. One morning, he wakes before dawn. The world is still dark, the kind of darkness that listens. He walks to the oak. The last leaf remains. Its edges are curled, its veins thin as breath. Wren reaches out his hand, but he doesn't touch it. He simply watches. Something soft rises in his chest. Not sadness, not joy, something quieter. A knowing that this too is right. He closes his eyes, and for the first time in a long while, he feels no resistance.
Later that week, a strong wind sweeps through the valley. It moves through the trees like an unseen teacher, testing what is ready to let go. Wren sits by his window, listening to the wooden chime he carved years ago. Its sound is low and kind, a reminder that movement and music are born from the same breath. He thinks of the leaf. A quiet ache blooms in him, as if saying goodbye before its time. When the storm softens, he steps outside. The air smells of rain and change. He walks to the oak, and yes, the leaf is gone. The branch where it once hung is now bare, glistening faintly under a sliver of moonlight. Wren stands still for a long time. He doesn't search the ground. He doesn't try to find where it fell. Instead, he whispers, "Thank you." He doesn't know who he's thanking, the tree, the wind, the season, maybe all of them. And in that whisper, he feels something shift within him, like a knot quietly loosening in his chest. Winter arrives. The garden sleeps beneath a soft quilt of frost. Wren spends his days by the hearth, carving small wooden figures, birds, leaves, the shapes of things that no longer are. Each carving feels like a conversation with impermanence itself. He begins to understand that beauty was never meant to be captured. It was meant to be noticed and then released. He writes in his old journal, "What falls away is not loss. It is the world making space for what wishes to grow next." Sometimes he closes his eyes and imagines the leaf resting somewhere in the forest, part of the soil now, feeding the roots that will bloom again come spring. He smiles, because in that cycle he sees himself. Months pass. The snows melt. New shoots rise from the earth, carrying the quiet courage of return. Wren walks to the oak again. Its branches are alive with young leaves, fresh, unknowing, full of green breath. He looks up, and the sunlight filters through them, casting soft mosaics across his hands. He remembers the last leaf, its trembling, its surrender, its grace in letting go. He smiles again, not out of nostalgia, but understanding. Change, he realizes, is not the end of beauty. It is the reason beauty exists. He sits at the foot of the tree, breathing slowly, watching the rhythm of new life unfold. For a long time, he says nothing. He just listens to the rustle, to the breeze, to the silence that holds everything together. For a long while, Wren simply sits by the trembling hush of the trees.
He watches the last leaf, still clinging to its slender branch, illuminated by the hush of the moonlight. The air feels different tonight, softer, quieter, yet full of something invisible and alive. It's not just silence that fills the night, but a gentle presence that hums beneath every stillness. Ren closes his eyes. He lets the rhythm of his breath merge with the faint murmur of the river nearby. Each inhale feels like drawing in the world, and each exhale feels like giving it back, without resistance, without fear. He remembers how hard it once was for him to let things go. Dreams, people, moments, even his own mistakes. He clung to them as though losing them would mean losing himself. But sitting here, in this midnight calm, he realizes something he never truly understood before, that life was never asking him to hold on forever. It was asking him to notice, to witness the beauty as it passes. The leaf shivers faintly, as if acknowledging the truth in his thought. Its veins glow pale in the moonlight, fragile, intricate, almost translucent. Ren wonders how something so small can hold so much grace. He whispers to it, though he doesn't know why, perhaps speaking to the part of himself that still fears the falling. You've stayed so long, yet you never fought the wind.
His words vanish into the night. He feels the weight of them drift away. Ren rises and walks toward the riverbank. The ground is cool beneath his bare feet, and the world around him feels tender, like a wound healing, like a song remembering its final note. He kneels beside the flowing water. The moon reflects upon its surface, its silver light bending and breaking with each ripple. He dips his hand in slowly, letting the current slip through his fingers. The river feels alive, not rushing, not resisting, just moving as it was meant to. In its movement, he senses something sacred, not the kind that belongs to temples or prayers, but the kind that belongs to existence itself. Every drop of water accepts its course without question, without clinging to the rock or the shore. Maybe that's how peace happens, he thinks, when we stop trying to stay the same. Ren looks up once more at the branch where the last leaf trembles. It is still there, yet he knows any moment now it will fall. Not because of loss, but because that's what leaves are meant to do. In that knowing, something inside him loosens, a knot long held in the center of his chest. He lies back on the cool earth, his eyes tracing the stars above, each one flickering like a small truth in the infinite silence. The world continues without him needing to control it. And for the first time in a long time, Ren allows the moment to hold him. Not to understand it, not to change it, but simply to rest in it. The night deepens. The river hums softly beside him,
and the trees sway like slow dancers caught between breaths. Ren wakes before dawn, though he never really slept. It was more like drifting, his body still, but his mind somewhere between dream and awareness. The wind has quieted. The leaf remains, barely. Its stem bends delicately, a single thread holding it to the branch. He watches, not as a man waiting for an ending, but as a witness of the moment itself. How strange, he thinks, that even in its final hours, the leaf is radiant. It doesn't beg to stay, nor rush to fall. It just exists, completely present, as though time has dissolved around it. Ren stands and looks around him. The village beyond the fields is still asleep. The faint outlines of rooftops blend into the mist. He begins to walk, slow steps, no destination, each footfall soft against the dew-covered earth. He remembers a woman he once met on a mountain trail, an old traveler who carried nothing but a small wooden flute. She told him that everything in nature has its own tempo, and that peace is found not by slowing down or speeding up, but by listening to that rhythm. Even the wind, she said, smiling, sometimes forgets to blow. Ren didn't understand it then, but now, standing beneath the gray light of dawn, he feels what she meant. There are moments when the world simply pauses, not out of exhaustion, but out of wholeness. Nothing needs to move because everything already is.
He looks at the leaf again, its edges curling like a soft sigh. Something in its stillness speaks to him, a truth without words, that impermanence is not tragedy, but the heartbeat of existence. He kneels once more beside the river. This time he sees his reflection not as a stranger, but as part of everything else: the sky, the water, the leaf, the earth. He realizes that he too is changing, even in this moment of stillness. His breath, his thoughts, his pulse, all moving like water beneath the surface of being. He picks up a small stone and tosses it into the current. Ripples expand outward, touching everything in their path before dissolving back into stillness. The river forgets the disturbance almost instantly. There is something freeing in that. How easily it lets go. How gently it returns to calm. Ren whispers to himself, "Maybe that's what it means to forgive. Not to erase, but to let the ripples fade." He sits until the first light of morning stretches across the horizon, soft gold spilling into blue. The leaf, still holding, gleams faintly in the new light. It hasn't fallen yet, but he senses it will soon. And strangely, that makes him smile, because for the first time he isn't afraid of what comes next. He has learned the rhythm of letting go. The day passes in silence. Ren spends it walking through the fields beyond the river, watching the grasses bend and rise again with each sigh of wind. He listens to the hum of distant insects, the faint creak of old branches, the far call of a heron gliding toward the marsh. Everything seems to be teaching him the same thing, that change is not a thief, but a teacher of appreciation. The beauty of anything lies in its impermanence. As the sun begins to set, Ren returns to the tree. The leaf is still there, but barely. Its stem has thinned to a translucent thread, its edges glowing faintly orange from the fading sunlight. He stands before it quietly. It no longer feels like he's watching something die. It feels like witnessing a promise kept, a circle closing with grace. He remembers his younger self, how much he once feared endings, the last day of summer, the silence after laughter, the final words before goodbye. But now he understands. Every ending carries within it a beginning unseen. The universe does not erase, it transforms. A soft wind stirs. It's barely a whisper. The leaf trembles once, twice, and then it lets go.
It falls in a slow spiral, turning gently in the air, its golden surface catching the light one last time before resting upon the river. Ren watches it float away. No struggle, no sound, only peace. And as it drifts into the distance, a single tear rolls down his cheek, not of sorrow, but of reverence. He bows his head, hands clasped loosely, as though in wordless gratitude. The river carries the leaf away until it disappears around the bend. Ren stands there long after it's gone, his breath merging with the cool evening air. He feels lighter, as though something deep within him has also fallen free. "Thank you," he whispers to the night, "for teaching me how to release." The stars appear one by one, filling the sky with quiet fire. Ren lies down beneath them, his body sinking into the gentle rhythm of the earth. Every sound, the wind, the water, the distant song of crickets, becomes part of a single, unbroken silence. He closes his eyes. In the darkness behind them, he sees the leaf again, drifting endlessly, yet always at peace. He feels his breath slow, his heartbeat steady, his thoughts dissolve into the space between sounds. And in that stillness, he understands, nothing truly ends. Every fall is a flight into something unseen. Every silence is filled with meaning too vast for words. Every moment perfect, because it cannot last. And so, as Ren drifts into sleep, you too may let your thoughts fall away like the last leaf upon the river of night. Let go of the day's weight, let go of what was, and breathe into the quiet that always remains. For in the stillness you are whole. In impermanence you are free. The stars keep watch, the river flows on, and the heart always finds its peace. The night stretches long and tender across the valley. Ren lies beneath the vastness of the sky, his chest rising and falling with the rhythm of the earth's breath. The stars shimmer faintly, as if listening to the quiet heartbeat of all that lives. The air carries the scent of river mist and pine bark. In that fragrance, Ren feels the memory of the falling leaf, its gentle descent, its surrender, not as an ending, but as a continuation written in silence. He opens his eyes. The constellations have shifted,
Time has passed, though he hasn't moved. And yet he feels that something in him has moved. It's subtle, like the slow turning of the tide, but it's there, an invisible current that carries peace where once there was ache. The world has changed without his notice. The crickets have quieted, the wind has settled, and the river flows with the ease of a song that no longer needs an audience. Ren sits up slowly, brushing dust from his hands. The night air touches his face with a kindness only stillness can offer. He looks toward the east, a faint line of silver already gathering at the horizon. The first hint of dawn, the end of one light, the birth of another. He stands, his body creaking softly, bones tired yet steady, and begins to walk. The world seems to open before each step, as if each footfall carries a whisper of acceptance. He walks until he reaches the river again, the same river that once mirrored his doubts, his longing, his fear of loss. Now, it mirrors only calm.
Good night, from Sleepy Zen Story. Rest in the beauty of impermanence.